Hey kiddos, so if you're watching this video, it's because you've already completed your work. So you should not be watching this unless you have done all of this on your own. Now, I have no way of holding you accountable to that, but knowing that it's important to try this on your own first is only going to make you a better reader so that when it comes time to have a test or to show what you know, or really just to make sure that you're where you're supposed to be as a fourth grader, you need to make sure you're doing these things on your own first before you're checking your work, okay? So if you've not already answered all of these questions, please go do that before you watch this video. All right, kiddos, in the last video, I modeled for you how I got to this answer. What we're going to do today is I'm just going to walk through what your answers should have looked like and kind of where you could have found them in the passage, okay? All right, so number 2 says, based on the section, millions of players will freeze. Just like my model, this is telling me exactly where to go. I should have gone right back and I should have reread millions of players before I answered this question. It also asks me my internet is being crazy. I'm so sorry, kiddos. My answers are popping up and I don't know what it's doing. But I also see 2 question marks here, okay? It's saying, why is Roblox popular with kids? First question. Why did it become even more popular last March? If I go back in this section, millions of players, okay, and I reread, I find that answer pretty quickly, okay? So it says, chances are that you don't need to be told what Roblox is. 2/3 of all U.S. kids between 9 and 12 years old have used the platform, according to the company. Packed with more than 40 million different games, it's something to appeal to every kind of kid, sort of like the YouTube of gaming. Okay, so it tells me right there, why is it popular with kids? And remember, I didn't just say because it's different. No, I'm giving you a very well, complete, thought out answer that you can tell that I've pulled evidence from the passage to support it. So it says it has something different for each kid. There are 40 million different games. Yes, this is in my own words, but I'm also using those details from the text in my answer to support what I'm saying. But that's not it, right? There were 2 questions here. It says, why did it become even more popular last March? Well, it says, let's keep reading because we haven't found that one yet. It says you can chase bad guys and jailbreak. You can whip up pipes and work at a pizza place. You can find a furry pet to love and adopt me. And if you somehow don't find a game you like, you can make your own. And the company's easy-to-use game builder, Roblox Studio. Most of Roblox games have been created by its users. Since it was started in 2005, Roblox has grown into a worldwide hit and more than 120 million regular players. And between February and March of this year, players started using the platform 40% more. That isn't surprising when you think about what was happening last March. Millions of Americans like Robbie and his family have been told to stay home to stop the spread of COVID-19. We couldn't go to school. We couldn't go to the movies or eat a pizza with friends. To pass the time, some of us baked or did puzzles. Others binge-watched TV shows. And millions played on Roblox. Okay, so right here it says the platform became even more popular last March because of the spread of COVID-19. Kids couldn't go to school. And you could have added more details on there because they couldn't go to the movies. You couldn't eat a pizza. We had to do something to keep our minds occupied, right? Okay, let's look at the next one. All right, it says reread the power of play. So you should have frozen right there and you should have gone and read the power of play, okay? And it says, and the sidebar, 5 benefits of playing games. Give at least 3 ways that playing games can help people. So what I've done is I've given you 5 ways that games can help people. Ooh, it is not limited to these 5 ways that games can help people. Hang on, kiddos. We're having some technical difficulties here. Goodness gracious. You would think that by now, 14 weeks into school that Miss Megan wouldn't have technology issues, but I do. It's all right. It happens. Honestly, the day I'm recording this is before Thanksgiving, and this is the day that, I don't know if you remember, but I said, sorry, I don't have anything posted on virtual. It's because the internet hasn't been working. So about 1 o'clock today, they finally got it back up, and obviously you can tell we're still having glitches. All right, so when you read this question, you should have seen the power of play, the 5 benefits of playing games. You should have gone back to reread those sections. And it says give 3 ways that playing games can help people. So I gave just a list of 5. But what I would have liked to have seen you do is pull some evidence out of these reasons why. Tell me why they could help you, okay? Don't just give me 3. Okay, give me reasons why they are helpful or examples of how they are good for us. Okay. Then our last question, or the next question says, reread the first section of the article, A Sweet Treat in a Tough Time. So I know that I'm moving into the next article. It says, what is polio? What was life like for kids who were being treated for polio in the hospital? So again, I know where to go reread. It's giving me my direction. The first section of what article, Sweet Treat in a Tough Time. I've got 2 questions. What is polio? What was life like for kids who were being treated for polio in the hospital? So when I go back and I reread, I saw that it said that polio is a disease caused by a contagious virus. In its most serious form, the virus can paralyze the body and cause breathing difficulties. In extreme cases, it can even lead to death. I also saw that for kids who were in the hospital, it said now they were on their own in a strange and scary place. They were homesick and frightened. They were also incredibly bored. So I found my answers, guys, word for word in this passage. So make sure that's why we're practicing this strategy is of all the things that we struggled with in QAR, it was right there questions. And that tells me it's because we're not going back in the passage and we're not reading what the answers are. We're reading it one time and throwing it aside. No, we constantly go back into this passage, okay? So even though, yes, I've already read it, and probably by today, I've read it probably 2 or 3 times, I need to make sure that when it tells me where to go, right here, it tells me the first section of what article, I know what I'm reading for specifically, go back and do those things because then you're able to find these answers that much easier and you're able to ensure that you are right. Yes, it may take more time, but in the long run, you're correct, which is what really matters, okay? All right, let's look at the next 2. It says, why was Candyland popular with kids during the time of polio? Okay, so it doesn't tell me where to go read, so they're getting trickier. But if I go back to where the section says an instant hit, that tells me that the game is going to be popular. And I know that's what this question is about, the game being popular. And I think I might be able to find my answer there. So I'm going to start there. And immediately I found my answer in the first sentence. It says, Abbott's game was very simple and perfect for young children in the ward who couldn't yet read or write. So I said it was simple and kids didn't have to read or write. In that section, it continued on and it said it transported sick kids into a land of sweets. Okay, so even though it didn't tell me where to go read, I still used my text features here, like an instant hit, to help me find it. And then our last question today says, what details in the last section support the idea that Candyland is still popular today? Well, it tells me exactly where to go. And notice what else it says. What details? That is asking me in like kind of a code way, word for word evidence. What are some word for word details that say that Candyland is still popular today? And I know that I'm going into the last section. The last section of our article was called Generations of Children. When I reread it, this is what I saw. Over the years, many new versions of the game have been released with new characters like Princess Lolly and Lord Licorice. There was a computer game based on Candyland, as well as an animated movie. There are even more than just these details, kiddos. But notice how that when I wrote these came word for word from the passage. And I made sure to show that they came word for word from the passage using my sentence stem in the text it said. Anytime, kiddos, it says what details, it's asking you for evidence. It's asking you for word evidence straight from the passage, okay? All right, kiddos, if any of your answers didn't look like mine, if you struggled through this today, please reach out to me and let me know so that way I can help and just make sure, kiddos, that you're working as hard as you can at all times, okay? All right, guys, thanks for working hard, and I will see you for our next lesson.